Here's a look outside of the aerial lift bridge this morning, looking up at the sky. Can't see too much, but, well, there is still a little bit of a cloud deck here in the Twin Ports. And, well, that'll be eroding throughout the rest of the day as we get high pressure to rebuild back into the region. Now, if you're sending the kids out to school this morning, the temperatures will be into the 30s for the most part. We'll see decreasing clouds as they head out. And then by the time we get to the afternoon hours, things will really be clearing on out. We'll see mostly sunny skies, temperatures into the mid-40s. Some areas will be into the low 50s, mainly down to the south, but it will be windy though, so you might want to pack that windbreaker or a little bit of that jacket for that windproof layer on the outside. Otherwise, we'll be continuing to see wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour or so into the northeastern portions of the area and perhaps parts of the UP. Further south and west you go, the weaker the winds will be as you get away from yesterday's leftover low pressure system. That'll be calming down here as we head through tonight. Temperatures right now are into the 40s for the UP and Wisconsin, with the exception of Superior, now down to 37, into the 30s elsewhere, low 30s up to the north and west. Here's a look at today's high temperatures. Again, a little bit cooler than yesterday, especially down to the south will be into the low 50s, but into the mid to upper 40s closer to the Twin Ports, low 40s up to the north. Could be a stray flurry or two across the borderlands, but that chance is pretty low. We'll see northwesterly winds at about 10 to 15, and again, decreasing clouds here for Wisconsin as well. Almost everyone will be into the 50s for Wisconsin, so still above average for this time of year. Tonight will be closer to average, cooling down here with partly cloudy to mainly clear skies, lows into the 20s. Notice those winds, though, very weak and calm, which is going to allow for those temperatures to really drop on off. Some areas could get into the teens here. Very isolated area could get into the upper teens, but most of us will be into the 20s tonight and clear before our next system moves on in here for tomorrow. And so tomorrow morning we'll likely see a low pressure system somewhere on the foothills of the Rocky Mountains at Alberta, and that'll continue to trek eastward here through the day on Thursday pretty quickly, and it'll sort of start to intensify. So we'll probably get a band of precipitation on the north side of the low, but it's a little uncertain as to how far north or south the system will be. The further north it is, the less chances of maybe some wintry mix we could see. And, well, if we do see any wintry mix, impacts won't be all that much since it'll still be mainly above freezing. But out behind it, we're going to get some colder air on the backside, which is going to help lock in some colder air out ahead of our next Clipper system heading into the region through Saturday. But what that's going to do for our highs, well, it's going to be dropping them below average, about 12 degrees into the low 30s. Some areas might not even break out of the 20s here into the weekend. So timing it all out here, most of the day is going to be mostly dry, maybe an isolated flurry up to the north. Here comes the cloud out ahead of our next system tomorrow morning. Most of the day will be dry. Then we'll begin to see some scattered precipitation develop during the afternoon and evening hours. And most of it not going to be accumulating since temperatures will be above freezing. And then maybe some isolated flurries here on Friday. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Again, cooler for this weekend with the 20% chance of some flurries for the weekend, but otherwise it's not going to be too impactful. Some of the lakes might start having some ice on them. Otherwise, we'll be back on a warming trend here heading into next week.